Hello, and welcome to Play the Trombone with Mr. Cole, Episode 4, pages 15, 17, and 18 of the book which we've been using, Team Brass. And I have to say, before we go on, I hope you've been doing some practice. It's not me that teaches you the trombone, really. I guide you. You are doing the work yourself. You're practicing. You're getting to do all the little bits and pieces you need to learn yourselves by practicing over and over again. And I can suggest, before we go on to page 15, I suggest that you look at the end of episode 3 and finish off with the German dance again, just to remind you. But we're going to start off by warming up with the basic 5 notes we've learned. B flat. So you can play along with me. Let's do that one again. A whole breath. Now the next one, remember, 6th position. Almost as far as the middle bits, but not quite. 4th position, D, middle line. And from 4th position to 3rd position is only, you're talking about 6 centimeters, something like that. And then up to the 1st position again for the last of the 5 notes. Good. So if you look at page 15, it's all about tied notes. And all that means is there's a piece of, you call it rope if you like, or string, tying the 2 notes together. And it's a kind of plus sign. So if you've got as you have at the beginning here, a 2-beat note and a 1-beat note, and they're joined together, the obvious answer is they're going to be a 3-beat note. Just 2 and 1 make 3. And in the same way, 2 1-beat notes joined together make 2, or 4 and a 1 make 5. Now we're going to skip down to the canzonetta at the bottom of the page, because this can be played with those trumpet players that are in your class as well. So we're going to leave the trumpet players to learn their part, and we're going to have a look at this. Now the first thing you'll notice is a figure 5 over a line, and that means there are 5 bars rest. So you have to count the number of beats in each bar, which in this case is 4, because there's a C. C stands for common time. The most common time in music is 4 beats in a bar. So sometimes, to save ink, they write 4. Instead of writing 4/4, they write a C. So we're going to count 4 5 times, and then we're going to play the notes that are there. Let's just ignore the counting for a moment, and we'll have a look at the notes that are there. If you remember, 4th line up, F, 1st position. And there are 2 of them. And then we go down to 4th position, because it's the middle position and it's the middle line. 3rd position, because it's an E flat and therefore 3rd space, 3rd position. And back to the note you started on. But the difference between the 5th note and the 1st note is, you tell me? You should be saying that the 5th note is a hollow one, so it's 2 counts. It's a longer note, and the first one is only 1 count. So here's the first 5 notes. Okay, so you need to practice that. And I'm going to carry on now with the rest of it, which is 1st position, 4th position, 1st position. You can work them out. If you can't work them out, go back and revise. so let's tackle these rests now. 5 bars rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 2, 3, 4. Two, three, four, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. Not much of a tune, but then it's not meant to be a tune. It's the harmony or bass part to the piece called Canzonetta, which you're going to be playing with the trumpets. Good. So we're going to move on to page 17, and we've got a different note, a higher note. Up to now we've been using 5 notes. This is the 6th note, the 6th note. And it's in 4th position, like D. D is on the 4th line. Beg your pardon. D is not on the 4th line. D is on the 3rd line. G is on the 4th space. Here's D. Here's G. And this is where it's difficult because you don't move your slide. They're both in the same place, so you have to use your mouth and your ears to check. You might like to just try those 2 notes, D on the 3rd line and G on the 4th space. Good. So if we look at exercise 1, the first line on page 17, here it is. That one there is simply a series of F's and G's. Now you should know F, and you've just learned G. So simply go across the line with me. Here we go. And you will have noticed that some of the notes were longer and some of the notes were shorter, and the longer ones were the ones which were hollow, and the very long ones which were hollow with no stick on them. So they're the 4 beat notes. Now I'm going to leave you to practice the 2nd line and the 3rd line, and I'm going to go down to slow round. Now in episode 3 we did a round, and it's where someone else joins in halfway through. So see if you can follow me playing slow round, and then you have a go at it. This round is that there's only 2 players, so the first player would start where the 1 is at the beginning, and then when that player gets to where the number 2 is, then the second player starts again at number 1. And the other thing about this kind of music, or any kind of music really, is it is a series of questions. The notes are asking you which position, which position, which position, and you have to think quickly. It's not like a quiz where you can get up to 10 seconds to think of the answer. You have to think of the answer in a regular time. So each note has its own slot of time. It must fit into that time. So we're going to turn over the page now, and we're going to finish off with page 18. Now, I did say to you at the end of episode 3, I think, you've got 5 notes and you can play loads of tunes with 5 notes. And on page 18 you have at the bottom When the Saints Go Marching In, which is quite a well-known tune. There is a long note in the middle of it. It's a 4 with that piece of rope tie to a 1, so that makes 4 plus 1 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 3 times. Then further on there's a 3 and a 1, and at the end there's a 4 and a 1 again. So lots of tied notes in this. So this is a good tied note practice. So I'm going to play it through to you, and the thing about this tune is to start off slowly and get it accurate. When you can play it quickly, speed it up a little by little. Here we go. There you go. So that's When the Saints. So today's lesson you have learned about tied notes. You have learned a G, which is the higher note. If you remember, it's the same position as D. G, the new note you learned today, is written on the 4th space. If you've got your 5 lines there, it's the one just under the top line. D is the one on the 3rd line. Both of those are 4th position, and you have to make the difference. Try and do some practice. If necessary, go back to earlier episodes. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you have to go back and remind yourselves on earlier episodes. But you now have 4 episodes to work from, so hopefully you'll be getting quite good by now. See you next time. Thank you. Bye.